What it means to be a human. Very interesting topic and loaded question, and yet challenging, yet exciting. So here go. Every human life is thrown into the world as an infant with the ultimate unlimited of potential. Challenge is, how can we actualize that potential to become a human being? In my opinion, will determined by two. Number one, perspective of what we think who we are and what we are. The other one is, what will we learn throughout the life? However, and I would like to describe that as a different term. I'm going to say journey of a life needs three things. One, direction. In Eastern, we rather say the way or Tao or Do. And it is different perspective of a life. However, we also need to have a big picture so we know which way we're going, and that is kind of like a GPS. However, we also need to learn. We already talked about it, but learning what? And not only further, learning how to learn is a very important things we need to cover. Human history brought up many a perspective to us, and I like to bring up the 5 different lines. First one is the Homo sapiens. That is a Latin word as a wise man. And yes, human beings are intellectual compared to all other species in the world, but that's not good enough. There is another one's Homo faber, as another Latin word, a worker, and we making things. However, we making it things and complete the task. In order to do that, we need to know how to make a tool maker. That's right. Consider that. How many different life do you have in your kitchen? All different types of a knife you have in order to accomplish a certain task. However, now there's another line called the Homo ludens, written by the Huizinga, as of a Latin word, a player. What it means is this. Let me summarize as quick as possible. When we play, it is not anything we gain as of financially or any material. Yet, human being puts such compassion, effort into the player, into the game. And that is how we exercise our imagination and human potential. And that's how we create our culture, our civilization. And that's how human history moved. Now then, time binding, that's another a concept as becoming and becoming oneself. So let me introduce a few books so I can congruently integrate that in the big picture. Big picture number 1. And it is written by E.F. Schumacher, a book called A Guide for the Perplexed. And in his book, he said, world is a chain of the being. And that chain of the being, one of the first layer is a mineral, so he used a sign M. Plant, he used M plus X. X means a life. Then animal, M plus X plus Y. Y means consciousness. Human is M plus X plus Y plus Z. It's a self-awareness. I think we can be used as another term as a reflective thinking. Now then there's another book to inaugurate the big picture is a Manhood of Humanity, written by Alfred Korzybski. In that book, chapter 3, Class of Life. Class of life has 3. Number 1, plant, chemical binding, animal, space binding, human, time binding. I will explain a little more further later. Now then, another big picture, number 3. The book title called The Tripartite Nature of a Man. And we has a body and soul and spirit. soul and spirit are completely different things. It's not a synonym. However, let's talk about body means physical things, the material things. So it's a science. It is study of a matter. Soul is a psychology. It is a study of a metaphysics, which means we cannot touch, we cannot see, and it is not there. But it is there. Now then, spirit is a theology. It's a study of transcendence. It's not relative world. It is absolute world. So if we all these three books combined together, and then let me make the illustrate. Universe formed within two axes, space and time. And within that two axes, there are two categories, inanimate, animate. Of course, Schumann's term, it is a mineral, inanimate. Now then, within animate, the life, there are three classes. I like to use a term from the Korzybski's term, chemical binding. There are trees and plants. Every life need food to supply continuing energy. And that is, but that food cannot be dirt and rocks. Food has to be organic. That's why trees and plants become base of entire life as a food chain. Then second thing is space binding. It is moving creature, but their principle is survival of the fittest. So when I asking what is the purpose of their existence, it's not survival. It is to be the food for the hierarchy being. Then now, third one is time binding. The human is a principle of the human life. So now when time, how another interesting topic. Time has a tense, past, present, future. So past, I was. Present, I am. But future, most people will say, I will. But I'd rather say, I become. Why? Because I need to integrate with the concept of learning. Then it is, I become. So let's talk about now learning. Conventional definition of learning will be acquiring knowledge. But that is very shallow definition. And it doesn't explain fully, very narrow. However, learning, think about it, it becomes part of me, part of us. Why? Because once we learn, nobody can take it away. Not only that, we completely different being. So therefore, it is transformation of the being. Through learning, we become different being. Yes. So then, second, a layer of the learning is, what can I be without learning? Yes, it's a beast and not a human being. However, anybody can argue human learning too, but animal also. Yes, but there's a lot of difference. Well, then difference between human level, animal level, I will say reflective thinking ability. Again, that is a Homo sapiens. When they communicate, human communicate different way. Language. It's not only a language, written language. What the written language means, they can use symbol. And that is where Homo favor and Homo ludens come. However, now they're becoming themselves, becoming oneself. That is building an individual. That is a human engineer's ultimate goal. That's I trademark on it. Third phase of learning is finding your own mind is ultimate end of the learning. Therefore, I am becoming. Now you see why I was, I am, I becoming. Now then, time binding means now human life is not emptiness, rather becoming. Not only that, they leave a legacy to the next generation. Think about it as the 21st century right now. We have airplane. We can sending the broadcasting and news from the other side of the world. And we have an internet, we have a smartphone. How those things are available right now? It is accumulation of all time binding. So every human life is a contribution to the human history. So here is now quote from the book called the Dehak. It's a searching on mind. In the one of the a portion said like this, is rather my personal translation. A absent mind, then we see though we don't see. It's a turn of blind eyes. Then we hear without noticing anything. And even that absent mind, we eat without knowing taste. That's right. Therefore, ultimate discipline is cultivating awakened mind. That's right. And that is what I meant by perspective. Homo sapiens as a wise man, then Homo a favor as a maker, a tool maker, Homo ludens as a player, and time binding as a becoming, and becoming oneself. Thank you. I hope that you enjoyed.